there was a rumor, I believe, last week that came out. I don't have the tweet pulled up, but there was a rumor that Renfro's roster spot is in serious jeopardy. I don't know why it would be. I think Renfrow is a much better receiver than the guys that maybe the Raiders have behind them, but maybe it's a business decision. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I kind of want to pull up his contract right now. I get it only because this has been an ongoing rumor this entire offseason. I mean, last season he got injured. He was fumbling the ball. Uh, he wasn't having the strongest season. And I think if you follow in the footsteps of Darren Waller, a guy who was often injured last season, and there were rumors that he was upsetting the coaching staff because of his inability to get on the field or unwillingness to get on the practice field. This is the type of coaching staff that really believes that the best ability is availability. So if you're not going to be available, you're not going to be on this team. Now, I don't see that being an issue for Renfrow. I think he just got a little batch of bad luck last year. I think he had a rib injury or something like that. But I don't know. I think when you consider that Jimmy G's the quarterback and just the offense that Josh McDaniels has always ran with guys like Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola and Wes Welker, I think Hunter Renfrow follows right in those footsteps. And
I think he's like the perfect mold of like one of those kinds of players.
Yeah. So I don't see why, other than, his play from last season or his contract that was signed, back when Mike Mayock was the GM. So I can understand how Ziegler comes in and he looks at all the contracts and goes, "Ooh, whoa, Hunter Renfrow, 2-year, $32 million contract. So averaging around $16 million a year." And they don't want to pay Josh McDaniels they don't want to pay Josh Jacobs how much? Well, this could be part of the reason why is because, we're paying this slot receiver that didn't play much, and when he did play, he wasn't crazy spectacular last season for us. We're paying him $16 million a year.
I would try and restructure him if I were the Raiders.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like you said, his performance last season kind of dipped, so maybe they're like, putting pressure on him. It's like, are you going to be healthy this upcoming season? But I mean, they should clear up some cap space to try to get Jacobs back.
Yeah, we'll get to Jacobs in a little bit. I want to say I saw on Twitter, and I should have screenshotted it or something. I want to say that Hunter Renfrow's contract is like maybe the 15th or 16th overall contract as far as average per year of all receivers in the league. And Davante Adams is like the first or second highest average per year of all receivers in the league. So, we know that Davante Adams is worth it, right? But is Hunter Renfrow worth paying another top 20 average per year contract in the league for your slot receiver who is not your number one, but he might not even be your number two, depending on how Jacoby Myers goes this season,
If you asked me if I would rather have Renfrow at that number or Jacobs at that number, I would choose Jacobs. So if they do have to move on from Renfrow, I mean, I don't see it as a good thing, like football team wise, but business wise, I could see it's like, yeah, they're offloading that cap, the cap number. But ideally, I think they should try and restructure him because I think he's a pretty good player, or they should try and trade him. So I see the rumor that his spot is in serious jeopardy, but what are they going to replace him with? Who are they going to replace him with?
Yeah. Consider the fact that they drafted Trey Tucker in the 3rd round, who was built to be a slot receiver. more of a gadget receiver than Renfrow is, more of a possession receiver. But maybe that's their guy. I don't know. As far as the average per year, I was a little off. It's 20th of all receivers in the league. This is per.
Still, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. This is per Tristan Kuhn on Twitter. KUHN. Okay. He is a great follow. Okay, at KUHN TRISTEN. I'm not repeating his last name again.
No worries.
It might be Kun, but anyways.
No, I mean, I think it is Kuhn. KUHN.
Correct. So, yeah, but I think that would be the main reason why is they're trying to offload his contract. I don't know what his guarantees are like, all that stuff. So, I remember possibly seeing that if he were cut or traded post June 1st, which obviously it is now, it's July, it might actually not hurt the Raiders so bad. So, where I'm at right now is if they were to have wanted to cut him, they would have by now. So maybe they are looking into trading him. But I don't know. I see him fitting so well with the team, and it's like they already went through the offseason. They signed all their contracts. They did everything they went about doing in free agency and such. Okay, yeah, you just signed a guy like Marcus Peters. Is there really anybody else left on the market that
you'd want to save that cap for? Maybe they're just trying to delegate the cap and have the cap space carry over to the next year.
It's possible, yeah. And I do like the idea of restructuring, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else that you want to say about Renfrow's spot or?
No, I mean, as far as the last topic we were talking about with like Davante Adams, it's like
uncertainty at the receiver position.
Yeah, just overall. But if Davante Adams actually wanted out, like, how dumb would we look if we got rid of Renfrow? And then it was like, oh, Davante Adams is forcing a trade. It's like, well, enjoy Jacoby Myers as your wide receiver 1.
Yeah. That would be such a disaster.
Yeah.
Like they would have 3 players. They would have 3 players that are completely unknowns. Is Jimmy going to have this weapon? That would just be bad. And if that's the case, that they're not going to have any of those 3 or not have at least one of those 3, it's like, or at least Davante, right? If you're not going to have at least Davante, it's like, it just makes it a whole lot worse. But